Hong Kong is the business mecca of the Asian Pacific and a large player in the international business market. Life in Hong Kong is centered around businesses for much of the population. Over 500,000 small to medium-sized businesses show its massive entrepreneurial spirit. The hunger, health, and vitality of the mainly ethnic Chinese culture is evident. The most common types of business structure/business entities in Hong Kong are companies, sole proprietorships, and partnerships. Limited liability company. The most common business vehicle in Hong Kong is a limited liability company. A limited liability company offers protection of personal assets from business risks and liabilities and is a separate legal entity. Sole proprietorship. Suitable for small business scale and low-risk businesses with a sole owner, sole proprietorships are easy to set up. However, this is not a recommendation for business structures with entrepreneurs, as it does not constitute a separate legal entity and does not protect the owner's personal assets from business liabilities. Partnerships. This business structure allows two or more people to share ownership of a single business. Partnerships enable a sharing responsibility and increase the ability to raise funds. However, partners are jointly and individually liable for the actions of other partners. The most common form of partnerships is a limited partnership, as it offers limited liability to limited partners. Hong Kong is Chinese, and therefore it is very traditional in its thinking and management styles. Management decision-making is very centralized, fast, and flexible, which contrasts with the more measured approaches of other national companies. Utmost respect is shown to the manager simply because he or she is in a higher position. It can be very difficult for employees to carry bad news to their manager, which may have a severely limiting effect on the amount of information a manager has to base any decisions upon. This can result in crucial information being withheld at a vital time with inevitable negative effects. Meeting etiquette will differ depending on the type of company being dealt with. Meetings with the larger Hong Kong multinational companies will likely follow a fairly standard meeting style with agendas, presenters, etc. Smaller Hong Kong entrepreneurial type organizations could be much more informal in nature with a fairly relaxed approach being taken. The most senior persons in the meeting are given the most respect, no matter what level of English they speak. Like most meetings, discussions are likely to be diplomatic and polite, but when things are becoming difficult, there is a possibility of raised emotions and tempers. The leader of the meeting will quickly calm any unsettled situations.
Hong Kong is a group-oriented country and is a Confucian society. They are very family-oriented and they have the greatest group ties to their family. As a result, Hong Kong will have effective group members if the environment is safe and harmonizing in regards to family. Long-term loyalty outside of the family to an organization or team should not be expected. If better opportunities come along, they will be taken hold of. Employees or members of a team assumed to be instructed by the manager. The reasons for this is because the manager would be able to maintain a closer and continuous involvement in the progress of tasks. Employees aren't required to take initiative or make unilateral decisions. Not everyone in Hong Kong speaks fluent English. However, most of the employees of large corporations have high fluency in English. Quite often they will speak another language fluently. But in smaller companies, English fluency is not expected, and the number of employees that can speak English fluently decrease rapidly. There may be communication difficulties when speaking English because they may not fully understand. A way to increase communication/comprehension is asking open questions and go over any points that you think may have caused confusion. Hong Kong's Chinese is more direct than the other languages in that area. It is often used at a peer-level discussion. Lower-ranking employees will not use this directness to high-ranking colleagues. When communicating and starting a new relationship, it is smart to ask questions about family and health, which will create a stronger bond. Once you have a strong bond with someone, then you can start to talk about the more important issues you may have. Hong Kong has been influenced by Western approaches. Because of this, women in Hong Kong play an important role in business. Confucian attitudes towards women in the workforce are located in small/medium business sectors. However, women can have positions of meaningful power and influence amongst family members. Female business people that are visiting Hong Kong should not face many difficulties while working there. However, they may experience male colleagues being shown more attention. In Hong Kong, the dress code can vary depending on what business or industry sector you are in, as well as the size of the company the person is working for. However, it is safe to assume that most of the business attire is on the caution side and would recommend to wear business standard clothes. Men usually wear suits that are darker in colors, accompanied with dress shirts and ties, whereas women usually wear conservative business suits. However, trousers should only be worn on informal events. In Hong Kong, it is essential to be dressed well, and if they are trying to impress, they wear designer clothes. The weather can also determine what dress will be worn, so it is important to wear relevant types of clothing to meet the climatic conditions Hong Kong has.
In Hong Kong, businesses come in all shapes and sizes, and although dominated by a few very large conglomerates, its beating heart is made up of hundreds of thousands of small to medium family-run businesses. Tip number 3. Although the importance of building good business relationships should not be understated, it is much less of importance than on the mainland or in Taiwan. Successful entertaining in Hong Kong is vital to employers and managers of large sectors of business. Building relationships is a very important aspect of business in Hong Kong. To find ways to interact with colleagues or clients outside of the business environment is a great way to ensure future success with a client. For example, a very common but great way to treat clients is to take them for a wine and dine situation. The proper etiquette for such occasions implies that the person who hands out the invitation is to pay for the bill no matter what. When a manager or employer is to take a client out or colleague for dinner, prospects of business or future deals should not be talked about. General topics such as family, education, sports, etc. should be talked about in order for both parties to feel connected and to grow strong relationships. In situations at dinner with a manager, clients should not finish all their food that is served, as it implies that not enough food was supplied to their guests. Generally, successful entertaining involves the social aspect of people. It brings business colleagues together to grow strong bonds and relationships between each other in order to improve future business between the two. Hong Kong is often thought by many people to be a part of China, when in fact it is its own separate state or country. The landmass or land area of Hong Kong is 1,075 square kilometers. When compared to a nearby nation such as China, with a landmass of 9,596,960 square kilometers, it is very apparent that Hong Kong is not the largest country in regards to size. The population is approximately 7 million people, and a population density of 6,605 people per square kilometer. This shows Hong Kong is a highly dense location that would have great benefits for businesses looking to expand into large growing markets. It is expected that the average man in Hong Kong will live to the age of 80 years, while the average woman will live to the age of 86. The adult literacy rate in Hong Kong is very strong, with 93% of the population being able to read and write. The currency at which Hong Kong operates under is the HK dollar. Hong Kong is a very strong, influential economy. They export their products all across the world and import much of their goods that are necessary for a sustainable life. Examples of their main exports to their trading partners are electrical machinery/equipment, telecoms equipment, jewelry, and clothing. Hong Kong's products are exported to several countries worldwide. However, their main trading partners are China at 46%, USA at 13%, Singapore at 4%, and Taiwan at 3%. They are not a strong agricultural economy. According to their employment levels, Hong Kong's occupation levels are spread out with 92% service industry, 8% manufacturing industry, 5% unemployed, and 0% in the agricultural industry. They make their living off importing products to sell to their economy and providing services involving the products from all around the world. Hong Kong is a very small country in terms of landmass, making the idea of having a strong agricultural industry hard to work with due to the lack of available space. Imports coming into Hong Kong originate from many locations around the world. Their main import trading partners are China at 46%, Japan at 9%, Singapore at 7%, and Taiwan at 7%. Products that come into Hong Kong are necessary for sustainable life. These products are not a want, they are a need for an everyday life in today's economy. The products include raw materials, semi-manufactured consumer goods, capital goods, consumer goods, food, and fuel.